All right, this could be surprising to you. There are still a significant number of companies which uses COBOL as their programming language or support softwares which are written on COBOL. Looking at these stats, about 90% of Fortune 500 companies still rely upon COBOL, and roughly about 200 to 250 billion lines of COBOL are written on COBOL, which are still in production. And there are many industries, including banking, insurance, automotive, finance, and government, who use COBOL. And it's a fun fact: COBOL powers 95% of ATM transactions and 96% of travel bookings, and 80% of in-person financial transactions. COBOL is a compiled programming language that's well suited for transaction processing. But I've never heard or I've never written any COBOL in my entire life. I've only read about Pascal and COBOL as primitive programming languages in my undergrad, but I've never seen or written or actually read documentation which is on top of COBOL. But you probably have ran into situations in your organization where COBOL is the programming language which supports majority of the core applications. But if you ever run into a situation where you have to modernize those applications and you have to write documentation, in most cases documentation would not be in place. So with generative AI, you can generate very decent documentation, very good understanding of what's written in COBOL, so that next generation developers and engineers would be able to pick it up. Just for the sanity purposes and also for modernization, migrating from COBOL to another programming language. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can document your COBOL projects using generative AI. You can use pretty much any large language model. In my example, I'm using OpenAI's 4.0 model to convert the COBOL code to basically document COBOL code in such a way it is easily understandable. So there is a cool library that is written by Scott. It's called DogBuddy. You can look into this GitHub repository. This repository has the code basically which takes your repository which has COBOL code in it and kind of goes through all the files in it and writes very, very decent documentation. I mentioned COBOL, but it actually works for any programming language. So give it a shot. So in this video, I'm going to show you a sample COBOL application, and using that application, I'm going to convert each of those files into a decently readable documentation. Without any further ado, let's jump into it. So as I mentioned, clone this repository and follow through the instructions in DocBuddy. And once you configured your OpenAI's API key, go to your wherever your IDE is and run. In this case, I have this app called FinCobol. As you can see, all these files are written in COBOL. I don't even know what this does is. If you need a sample COBOL code, just ping me in the comment section. I'm going to provide you all these files for you to test. But as you can see, there are a bunch of files which are actually written in COBOL. And what I'm going to do is to simply run DocBuddy, and DocBuddy will go through all the files in this FinCobol repository and write and basically generate documentation for this. So let's go ahead and run this. I've just set up just like how this README file asked me to do. So I did that part, and the command to run and get documentation is docbuddy / and you have to give the file types. In this case, I only have COBOL. The extension for COBOL is CBL. So I'm going to give CBL as my file type. If your code has any other file extensions, just add like Python or JS or JSX or whatever it is. Since in my repository, I just only have FinCobol. I'm just going to go ahead and run it and just give it a minute. So in just less than 60 seconds, all my, I think roughly about 20 files, which are written in COBOL, will have its own documentation for each single file. I can then further take all these files and compile it together into a single project explaining documentation. But this is pretty good. I don't have to like manually copy paste each individual file's code into ChatGPT and get it, but this does that for you. As you can see, I'm getting responses already. It says documentation generated and saved in this repository. This is my first file which just got generated into a README file. So I'm going to open this, just go through what each of this, or at least skim through it, what it says. And it's actually running through all these code files. So you probably will see these files getting generated with .md extension. So I'm looking at my first file, which says, okay, this is a detailed documentation of report audit logs, CBL, which is COBOL. It says this COBOL program is designed to read and display audit logs from file. Below is the detailed explanation. Okay, it says, okay, program overview, identification division, section identification division. The data division is responsible for defining the structure of data used by program. And for each block, it gives me detailed explanation. For example, I don't know what exactly long timestamp pick x20 is. Just by looking at it, timestamp is probably date. So it says a 20 character field for storing timestamp of the log entry. It's pretty neat. And I'm going to go through. So let's read through this. Okay. So this is the line of code: perform print audit logs. So what it does here is calls print audit log section, which handles reading from and displaying records of the audit file. As you can see, it gives me pretty good documentation. It also gives towards the end the summary. This COBOL program effectively reads from the audit log files and displays each log entry, blah, 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 and it makes the program organized and straightforward. This program handles end of file conditions gracefully and informs the user of the progress and completion, whatever it is. So let's look into another file here. So similar type of approach, gives detailed documentation for that file, gives the overview, gives individual identification division, file section, and explains the procedure division. I don't know what exactly procedure division. If you are someone who've written COBOL in your developer journey, just let us know if this makes sense regarding that, documenting COBOL code. Similarly, I'm going to go through some of the documentation here. It says reads record, and at the end probably it's a like if or some kind of loop statement, I believe. Let's look into another one. So this is a transaction audit log. Yeah, as you can see, I just configured it, added my API key. I'm pretty sure this can be configured to any program, any large language model, be it Google, be it Anthropic, anything can be configured, and you can simply literally generate documentation for anything. So you might ask a question. Okay, so you've ran this files COBOL code through OpenAI. How much would it cost? I'm gonna show you my API dashboard here, just so you understand the usage. Prior to this recording, I ran the similar test, and it took 25 cents to convert a 20-page COBOL code into documentation. It's not very bad if you have legacy code and you wanted to modernize and you want a better understanding of what exactly in that project. So I would definitely spend 25 cents to document it. Yeah, it's still going through each and every file in here, and it's giving me pretty good understanding of what exactly this code is. I think that's all for this video. If you like this video, and if you found this video informative, please consider subscribing my channel, and I'll make more and more informative videos like this. And I'm going to drop all the references of this video into the description section. Check it out again. Consider subscribing my channel and hit that bell icon. And if you have any questions regarding this video, please drop them in the comments, and I'm more than happy to answer them. That's all for this video. Thank you so much. I'll see you in another informative video. Until then, keep learning.